Unlike many drama shows, it can be hard to say that HBO's The Gilded Age has one clear villain, as many of the characters are either motivated by their own interests or are very straightforwardly good-hearted. However, one particular person in New York high society now takes the cake. The Gilded Age's characters are neither perfect nor evil, with the show focusing on the power struggles of society and the overarching issues of late 19th century, which has seen Black Americans and working-class people fighting for their rights. While the Gilded Age's most powerful characters can be frustrating in their willingness to climb over others to get to the top, that is also part of what makes the show entertaining. Even then, those characters are only doing what they think is right within high society's terms. However, The Gilded Age Season 3, Episode 1, included several huge surprises, with one big reveal making a formerly minor character into the show's biggest villain yet. Charles Fane went from the Gilded Age supporting character to Season 3's worst villain. He has not played a huge role before now. Aurora and Charles Fane Gilded Age. Just 2 episodes into Season 3, Charles Fane is now the most frustrating character and biggest villain in the Gilded Age. In previous seasons, Charles was a mere companion to his wife, Aurora. He was also a minor antagonist to George Russell in the Gilded Age Season 1, but beyond those brief appearances, Mr. Fane was a background character, at best. Now, Charles has cemented himself as Season 3's worst character due to his intention to divorce Aurora. Because Charles Fane had played such a small role in previous seasons, it's surprising how quickly he became such a heel. Charles' request for a divorce came out of nowhere, especially since divorce was such a contentious topic during the Gilded Age, and women still had so little freedom to move through the world without husbands. Even worse, Charles' decision in the Gilded Age Season 3, Episode 2, to bring the woman he had been cheating on Aurora with to a party at their home made their split more apparent to other high society women. Why divorce is worse for Aurora than Charles Fane in the Gilded Age? Gilded Age society was far more restrictive for women. Charles Fane asked Aurora for a divorce in the Gilded Age Season 3, Episode 1, as if it were the easiest thing in the world for her, but her anguished response thus far proves that that is far from the case. No-fault divorce did not exist in the 1880s, and the concept of divorce more generally was still fairly taboo. As a result, the only way that Charles would be able to divorce Aurora Fane in the Gilded Age is for her to bring the charges, as he asks her to do in Season 3's premiere. The Fane situation is complicated, though, by the fact that Aurora does not want a divorce. She did not know that her husband was cheating on her and still believed that they were in love. Beyond being completely blindsided by his request, Aurora also realizes that being divorced will essentially force her out of society. Once the news is out, Aurora will be ostracized from society and may have to move to Newport, while Charles will live happily with his new wife. What Agnes meant when she said she's not Charles Fane's aunt anymore. He has now been removed from the Van Ridgen family tree. Agnes Van Ridgen expressed her own concern about being seen publicly with a divorced Aurora, but she is understandably far harsher towards Charles. When the pair encounter each other at Aurora's event, and Charles refers to her as Aunt Agnes, Agnes is quick to confirm to Charles Fane that she no longer considers him family. This is because, without his connection to Aurora, he quite simply is not part of the Van Ridgen family anymore. The Gilded Age's Van Ridgen family tree can be somewhat confusing, given all the different branches that have been introduced thus far, but the reason that Charles and Aurora Fane refer to Agnes as their aunt is that she is actually Aurora's aunt by marriage. While Marion is related to Agnes through the Brooke side of the family, Aurora was related by blood to Agnes' late husband, Mr. Van Ridgen. Thus, without his marriage to Aurora, Charles Fane would no longer be related to the Van Ridgen family in the Gilded Age Season 3.